Hello, I'm Rex Litter with the news update. The new branch of the Women's Microbank, or Mama Bank, at the Yanguru Sausia district of East Sepik Province opened for business on Wednesday, 30th January. This follows the signing of MOA between the Yanguru Sausia District Development Authority and the Mama Bank recently. Provided the early requirements to open an account, the people lined up in excitement at the new Mama Bank branch in Yanguru Station to open their bank accounts on the bank's first day of operation. Mama Bank is the second bank to be hosted by the district after BSP Financial Group. Minister Maru appealed to the people of Yanguru South, especially to mothers, to make use of the opportunity by opening their bank accounts and to practice saving. Coffee breeding were distributed to Hanganofi District, Eastern Highlands Province early this month. Jurunofi village in the Ward 1 of Kafantina LLG received the seedlings from Agriculture, Livestock and Fisheries officers of the provincial administration. The Provincial Division of Agriculture, Livestock and Fisheries is led by Director Avebstar Seka. Seka and the Division Advisor Ekesu Mange distributed 83,000 coffee seedlings to the Jurunofi villages. The distribution of seedling is an initiative of the provincial administration under the Coffee Nursery Project 2021 to 2025. After the launching, the team visited Cocoa Nursery at Kintunu Dal Station in Lower Bena LLG. The earthworks for a new modern market at Holik Village in West Yanguru LLG of Yanguru Sausia District, East Sepik Province have begun. Local MP Richard Maru says the vision of Yanguru Sausia District Development Authority is to construct 5 new markets along their stretch of Sepik Highway. Minister Maru thanked the people of Holik and Yaraboim for making land available for the construction of a new market that will not only serve the villages but also the neighboring villages. The DDA funded 50,000 kina for the initial phase of the project. The earthworks is in progress. The district plans to have this market completed as soon as possible because the people, especially the mothers, have waited too long for it. To regional news, thousands of sheep and cattle remain stranded off the coast of Western Australia. There's been no decision on the fate of the sheep, which was ordered by the Federal Department of Agriculture to abort its journey to Middle East 10 days ago. It is now anchored off the coast of Perth in severe heatwave with no way to go.
Trapped at sea. The MV Bahija was expected to dock this morning but has spent another day out on open water.
These animals have already gone through 24 days at sea. Potential heat stress, poor ventilation, standing in their own waste. They'd be extremely stressed.
The ship was ordered to turn around 10 days ago but has been without a plan since.
We've been asking state government, federal government what the plan is. It appears at the moment there is no coherent plan. We would certainly hope there is very quickly.
The Federal Department of Agriculture has declined to answer questions about the ship's fate or the welfare of the animals on board, while industry believes the ship is adequately equipped for the thousands of sheep and cattle they share in the frustration of being stuck in limbo.
To not come up with a plan over that period when the livestock were travelling back, that's the frustrating part, and still not having a plan now. There's 2 options here. We can unload these livestock and either re-export or process here, or we can re-export them on the ship, the place that they were going to initially.
Fremantle's Labour Minister quick to jump to the department's defence.
This is a trade that over and over and over again has produced animal welfare atrocities, a trade that has the mistreatment of animal welfare as part of its sort of week-in, week-out practice. I think it would be pretty rich for anyone to suggest that that's on the regulator.
The ABC has been unable to contact the MV Bahija's Israeli-based exporter, despite multiple attempts.
13 people charged in relation to sales of more than 4 tons of methamphetamine in Nadi, Fiji, worth more than 2 billion were produced at the Nadi Magistrates Court on Monday, January 29th. The accused persons face charges of unlawful importation of the illicit drugs, unlawful possession of illicit drugs, and possession of property suspected of being proceeds of crime relating to the importation and transportation of illicit substances. Fiji police revealed that Fiji was being used as a transit point and that the meth consignment was destined for a foreign market. Police says joint efforts with international law enforcement departments, partners, also expected some of the spillovers was for local market. More than 13 tons of disposable vapes have been seized in first large-scale bust in Australia since import bans began. The federal government plans to introduce even stricter laws as it extends its clampdown on vaping.
Countless flavours and colours. 150,000 vapes intercepted by federal police destined for Australian streets.
These vapes have an estimated street value of $4.5 million.
Border Force officers became suspicious when 14 air cargo consignments arrived in Adelaide, originally from China. The seizure comes as strict new laws prohibit the importation of disposable vapes, with only 2 vapes allowed per traveller into the country.
Investigations are still continuing, but we don't think South Australia was the sole intended location for these vapes.
250,000 vapes have been intercepted by police nationwide this year. The government says there's a dark underworld behind illegal vapes.
Funding the criminal activities of organised crime gangs, drug trafficking, sex trafficking and the like. So I just appeal to businesses and other commercial entities that have become involved in this market, find another way to make money.
Experts say that the black market of vape distribution has always existed, but recent law changes have helped officials curb the industry.
A loophole in the law has been changed and now the law can be enforced. So we're seeing these seizures and we'll see more of these seizures, but it's a good sign.
Border Force officers say no arrests have been made, but investigations into who imported these vapes from China are ongoing. Further nationwide reforms at the start of March will include a ban on importing refillable, non-therapeutic vapes, as well as the personal importation of therapeutic vapes. And the federal government will introduce legislation to Parliament to stop the sale and supply of non-prescription vapes.
We have one of the lowest rates of cigarette smoking in the world, but we're going to see all of that progress lost if we let this emerging market targeted at essentially defeating those efforts, recruiting a new generation to nicotine addiction.
The seizure is a small win against a public health crisis.
To sports, Mosby South Rugby League premiers, Gaboti Dragons will represent the Southern Confederate after beating Mountain Bulls 13-6 in the Southern Confederate Club Championships Grand Final yesterday at the Mosby South Stadium. Both teams were undefeated throughout the elimination process since the championship started last week. Gaboti Dragons' home ground advantage, coupled with the scorching Tuesday afternoon heat, proved too costly for the visiting Mosby Suburban League champions Mountain Bulls, eventually going down at full time. This is the first time for Dragons to be crowned champions at the Southern Confederate Challenge and a proud moment in the club's short history. Dragons will now prepare for the PNG RFL National Club Championships against Champions Club from the other Confederate next week. The 2024 Digital ExxonMobil Cup Football Conference will see 12 competition franchises come together over the next 5 days in Port Moresby. The conference started this morning. The Papua New Guinea National Rugby League competition has specifically designed the conference to provide the clubs with greatest opportunities to prepare for the season start on April 13th. The conference has 3 focus groups: the franchise managers, the head coaches, and the medical trainers. The franchise managers will have the opportunity to work directly with the PNG NRLC team to ensure compliance and governance of their clubs are at the forefront of the collaboration approach to the season. The 12 clubs' head coaches will gain a thorough understanding of how the games are expected to be officiated. They will also be provided with practical lessons, sessions, in analyzing performances and developing session planning. A real focus of the game is player safety, welfare and medical treatment. And that ends the Midday News Update. Join us for more at 6 p.m.